actually is coming.
Yes, he is.
Cool.
I think Connor, his son's with him too. I'm not sure.
Oh, shit. All right.
We are live.
We are live.
Is his son like 3 pounds? He's a good carter.
Yeah, he races with my son, autocrossing.
Yeah, he's really sweet.
He's a good kid.
They're building a Miata, but I think it's for a streetcar use. I don't think it's
Well, he
for
has a
racing.
streetcar Miata, and he also,
That's the one that has the rising sun paint down the roof.
Yeah.
Have Ray show you the pictures.
yeah, it's pretty
It's
awesome.
immaculate. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're still waiting for a couple guys to roll in here. They should be here soon, so we'll be starting up then.
It's because Dan went and got nachos.
Dan went and got nachos. Of course, Dan would get nachos.
In the meantime, people can post all sorts of questions, like what is the meaning of life?
Hey, guys.
Welcome, guys. Look, you brought helmets. Are they real helmets? Yeah. They must be because we qualified them with our stickers. So.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
Good. Welcome.
How you doing? I'm Barry.
I'm Mike.
Mike, nice to meet you.
Ray's here.
Why don't you don't shake it?
How's it going?
How you doing?
9/11, I'm George.
I'm Barry.
Don't do it. Don't use it. Yeah, that's why we got a lot of bandwidth issues, so don't.
I'm gonna turn it off.
You connect to their Wi-Fi? So I should be like surfing the web?
No, don't. Well, you can surf the web. Just don't use the. Just don't watch the video.
Why do I gotta watch myself? I don't need that at all. You got 12 people on.
You're right.
They're waiting for something spectacular to happen. Fight to break out. Well, apparently. I asked Bill, I said, they're going to make a like hardly interruption. He goes, we talked for 5 minutes. And I said, you know what PTI is? He goes, no.
Bill's not one with the sports.
No, guys, grab a seat anywhere you want.
How are you doing?
Oh, is this the
See,
360
hey,
camera?
Hug is using up your bandwidth.
I'm on LTE, okay?
So am I.
It's not your band.
Oh no, it's just a Wi-Fi. Yeah, I couldn't get good LTE in here.
He is in school?
All right, how you doing? You too?
How you working?
You just go on Facebook and you can see it.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
there's
I've
no
got
girls.
I'm looking at the floor.
So just to give you guys a real quick entry into this,
Drag it at an
Yeah,
angle.
it is.
if you're on a phone,
go
everybody
there.
out there,
They go there.
So they wander over the girls' school?
Come on in, man. Find a seat.
That's what they're supposed to do, right?
You know what?
He says they don't have to go anywhere, so you just
My favorite college.
Take your mouse, drag it around on the picture, or with your phone, spin around, or put it in your goggles, your Google Glass, or your Google goggles, or your 3D goggles.
You know, if these go-karts would knock it off, we might be able to hear ourselves think.
And then you can spin around the room and look at everybody.
No, it's not exactly.
We're waiting for Dan Diggs. Dan, who's our tech guy, he decided to go get
Just
nachos.
start without them. That's what I do at the racetrack. I said, just throw the green flag, Dan will catch up.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, here it comes.
That's how Ray gets through tech every time.
Just wait till Dan gets
Go
nachos.
through before Dad catches up.
He's an arrive and drive. You don't have to worry about anything. Dan, you're late.
Time we showed up for work.
Oh, I have to talk to you about the stickers too.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to call with Catherine.
Anybody say?
That's
Feel
fine.
like a Oreo.
All right, you
All right,
promised
we're good.
entertainment
I would, yes.
to the World Wide
Mike
Web.
will be dancing
So
soon.
get on it.
All right, my name is Bill Strong. I'm the media director for ChumpCar World Series. Welcome to the ChumpCast Live 360. It's our first time of ever using this camera in a meeting environment. So basically, move your phone around if you're watching it on a phone. You probably can't see me because you're probably looking over there. But move your phone around or click on the picture to move it. On Facebook, you just hold the mouse down, move it, and you can see who's talking. All right, so we're going to start this discussion off by introducing everybody. Say, my name is Bill Strong. I'm the owner of Racing Strong Motorsports, and I'm the media director of ChumpCar. Got to get my name
Really?
right.
Yeah.
ChumpCar World Series. And we're going to start here with Dan.
He knows too much.
Yeah. I'm Dan Diggs. I currently do tech for East Coast and the Central region. Next year it will not be either way, but
Wait, you quitting on me?
no, we're no.
There we go. It's the first point of the day.
Yeah.
First information.
First I've heard of that. See? Oops. Let the cat out.
No,
of the
that's
bag.
fine. That's fine. I've already said it before.
Okay. So yeah, I'm lead tech, not national tech, but I'm lead tech. I wish Phil was here.
That means you do all the work, right?
Yeah, I'm the one that everybody likes. doesn't like.
Now they do.
One in
right
10
now.
people have been failed by Dan Diggs this year.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Congratulations.
All right.
Yep, I'm not 10%.
Ray?
Oh, Ray Frank, head of God's last name is not Damn It Racing.
Also,
okay.
officially
And,
a nominee as well.
Yes, I'm officially now nominated.
Are you working on those questions I sent you?
Yes, I did, and I pondered them quite heavily.
Good.
Say it's good to be down here with you guys. It's quite a ride. But I think there was one guy on a motorcycle that's no longer with us because it was a bad accident on Route 1.
Good.
Yeah, it was.
I thought you meant you did it.
No, I was just in
It was a really credit.
the
He was in the
miles
series.
long traffic jam
Yeah.
that was wrong. But anyway, good to be here and looking forward to doing, talking about it something.
Skip?
Skip.
Wow.
I can't wait to get you on a cart. Not only are you old, but you're overweight.
There's a story there.
They're not bumper cars.
Oh, so it's not like a chump race then?
Yeah.
Hey, hey.
What?
You know what? Chip can no longer be with us.
He's got a few signatures on the bumpers.
Yeah. So anyway, been a chump for a few years now. Currently racing, but can't wait to kick some ass out on go-karts.
Cool.
Now we got to rate this PG-13.
Well, we already are
What?
PG-13,
I mean-
so.
Yes, we are.
Mr. Chiswick.
You are not in trouble with your wife like I am for skipping out on dinner date. I'm Mike Chiswick, CEO of ChumpCar. I'm the one who puts those videos out you see. I'm the one who gives Bill's tasks to take care of, like buy these cameras and put these things together. Doing a wonderful job. Hopefully tonight we entertain you, if nothing else, and maybe get some real information out of here before we quit and race and do stuff like that. So, anyway.
Chris Huggins, Huggins Racing. I just heard you were racing go-karts. I don't know about this 360 camera thing. I'm camera shy, but I have nowhere to hide, so I guess you got to look at
It'll
it.
follow you. Stand in the corner.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't move away from it.
What team do you own?
It's Huggins Racing, maybe called Pinkies Out. Thanks to this guy.
Classic.
Just put an engine in a new car today, so a little bit of grease under my fingernails, but had to take a break and come down here and chat with y'all.
Me?
Oh, you're just here to race.
I'm just his friend. I'm here to race
Oh, okay.
I like that a lot better. Derek Williams, DDR, 428 Celica, out of Raleigh. Doing it 4 years. Getting to know you guys. Starting to become some pretty good friends. Except for Bill. Bill's he's a horrible person. Yeah, looking forward to some good discussions and good food, and hopefully see some good racing later.
Someone's getting taken out.
Somebody is. It's going to be Bill.
What's new?
His GoPro's going on backwards.
I have raced with all you guys for a long time,
And that's why
Never
there's a
hit you.
target.
and I've never hit any of you guys.
That was
Wait, I
another
did
guy.
back in. I did hit you in the.
Wait, now, oh jeez.
I tapped into you.
You
Anyway.
hit my car.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
and you were
driving,
yelling at
and you
me,
weren't
ready
driving.
to hit me, because Mike, you wouldn't. You were
Burn
leading the
off.
race, and you wouldn't speed up.
15 minutes of interview.
Sorry.
Intros.
I'm Barry Salomon. I drive for Bliss Racing. I heard there was a kart event today, and I live nearby, so I came.
Cool.
Jeff Bliss, co-owner of Bliss Racing. I have a bright green 85 Camaro.
Woo!
Yeah.
Camaro.
Spot at the track.
George Bliss, also Bliss Racing.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay,
See,
cool.
short to the point. I like that. That's
Cool.
good.
All right, guys. So, have you guys had a time to look at the 2018 yearbook yet?
Yearbook?
Yeah,
Yearbook.
The rule book.
Sign my yearbook.
My rule book. The rule book.
I heard
Your
it didn't
year.
change.
It didn't change. Is that
Pretty
good?
similar.
Good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you guys.
I like it.
Don't look at me.
Good
Well,
for
you're
me.
not a car builder. You just race.
I'm a car builder.
Hopefully Troy's not watching. I'll say that no change is good change right now.
Yeah. You guys like your copper radiators or brass radiators?
I put in my points.
Yeah.
Hey, he about broke the internet this week with that
I know.
radiator thread.
He gave in at the end.
It's good discussion.
Yeah,
How many people run that thread this week?
a lot.
I read it.
I watched it.
And the first post reply back was pretty good. So that actually.
It was, but I didn't read the thread after the
Man.
first post. So
The big thing is that the Toyota MR2's radiators cost a ton of money, whereas most radiators don't, and we're kind of stuck with what we have. It goes back to the we didn't choose your car thing, so
now
we
the
don't have
quote
much
of mine, by the
choice.
way.
Huh?
Not a quote of mine, by the way.
I know.
I wonder where that came from.
Yes, sir.
What does your car start at? Points.
350, somewhere around there.
You got plenty of room for a radiator though.
Oh, we do. But then you have to take parts off, and that was mentioned as well, which is good.
Dan, what does the MR2
MR2
start
starts
off
at 3 what?
350, I think it is.
Cool. Great.
What?
at? I actually don't believe so. I'm pretty sure it's 150 points.
No, it's not 150.
Might have been 200. It could be 200.
The internet hasn't gone up in smoke
The
yet.
Mark
so they
1 I
haven't
think
seen
was
it.
150.
Yeah.
Mark 2 I thought was 200.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
There's only 4 of them that run in ChumpCar. It's not like, what you got to do is increase the
Run
minimum
is a
weight.
loose term.
They start sometimes.
They do. They finish sometimes.
Sometimes.
They win sometimes.
They win sometimes. When they finish, they win.
The other day.
Well, not.
2018 rules did not change because the number one complaint we got is every time somebody built their car, the rules changed. And it might have been subtle, it might have been major. How many times did you guys, BMWs, have to pull a part off, or now you thought you could put a motor in, and the next season it had to come back out? And people want to keep this racing as cheap as possible, but if you're changing your car, you're spending money. So even if the rules weren't perfect, we decided, don't touch them. Every series has bad rules. NASCAR's got bad rules. We just race. So
Don't compare us to NASCAR.
200
is it
We
bringing us
race,
down?
well, we race in the rain.
That's true. They don't.
So,
Although
yeah, we race.
you said it, not me. I have to be
200
careful.
points.
200 points. So that means you have 2 for 5.
Oh, I got a calculator.
300 points.
You could buy
That's
15
300
aluminum
points.
You have
radiators.
700
Think
points
about
to
how
play
fast
with.
your
And
car
that
goes with
radiator
15
is
aluminum
so
radiators.
expensive.
Yeah.
Is that an iPhone 4?
Huh?
5S, I think.
Wait a minute.
You like that iPhone 4?
What, you only like hold big things in your hand
Yeah.
to compensate for little things?
He's got a really
13, I forgot.
He has no room for radiators because he spent all the points on the engine swap.
Yeah.
You ain't just swapping but 50 points.
Is that his car?
Huh?
For our car?
He gets something like 250
Oh, that's
points
right.
on
You
the
have that
swap.
monster
Yeah.
horsepower in there.
Yeah.
So we get points for that. We get points for the aero. We get points for the suspension because we had to run coilovers to try to keep the hubs from breaking. Kind of worked.
What's everybody think about this arrow thing?
I like aero. Keeps our car pointed straight,
What's
but it breaks
what's the
parts.
more specific question? What do you mean?
I mean, it's sort of
It's a
like the
flat
only
point.
unrestricted area. I mean, how long before we start seeing like 17 wings on a car, or like a splitter the size of Texas out the front?
We have.
Kind of like
Well,
ours at the
We
last
have. They
race.
Well-
usually don't last a whole race.
Let's stop. What would be the problem with 17 wings on the car?
Yeah, you don't have that much weight.
It's a lot. It's a lot of drag.
There's a lot of debris that ended up in my car. I came in from a pit stop one time and had 2 splitters.
Okay, Chris, you can't say big words.
By the way, that was also the British way, wasn't it?
Debris.
Debris.
It's an old girlfriend.
Oh,
Debris.
they
Bonnet
debris?
Debris.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He's a smart lad.
Schedule.
But anyhow,
It was colored.
looking at the MR2 and all like that, all the cars we have running in ChumpCar. I mean, there's so many. Is there a kind you can think of? Anything else? I mean, is there a dominant vehicle?
Well, I think the most advanced aero I've seen so far is on the GWR car,
Yes.
but he's yet to win, right?
No, he won Sunday at
One
Gingerman.
Gingerman.
Okay.
But
That's right. That was his first race.
Will, I apologize, but had Rob's car not lost the brakes,
yeah.
the RX-7 would have won.
Right.
But that's racing, so. But his car's fast. He's got good aero on it. There are a few. I wouldn't call them loopholes. I think they're designed into the rules as avenues that you can pursue to improve the performance of your car, because they're not going to necessarily cost you more. We don't restrict the size of your tire. If you want to put a 315 series tire in your car, as long as there's a fender rolled over it, you're good, because everybody's got my tires. As far as the wings go, nobody's going to, all of a sudden rocket to the front of the field because they've got a big wing on the car, and it affords people the opportunity for 10 points to build something that may or may not actually be useful on track. So I think those are built-in avenues for people to play with their cars and experiment with trying to get a little better.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. And it allows the teams, I think, because I like aero, because it's somewhere where I can actually play and do something. I can use my, I can read books on it and kind of try different things out, whereas you can't really do that within the cost limitations, the points limitations of a lot of the parts.
How well does your wing work in the back of your car?
Too well.
So it really drags you down on the straightaways?
You saw it at Road Atlanta. It was aimed like this in order to get it to not cause our cars to push.
Yeah, we get a lot of pounds in the, our wing works really well, but you have to, that's when you play with it to try and get the balance right.
So I'm going to build it for the second car. It's going to be a completely different airfoil.
Yes.
I did a lot of reading, surprisingly, about what shape to make the wing, and I went and made it. I was aiming for something slightly different than what the reality was. You just have to guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the cool
around.
part to me, and I think it's probably about a point, because at some point we might reach that point that you're talking about where maybe aero's gotten out of hand, but right now I think it's allowed creativity, and it allows a lot of guys to test and tinker and play, and that's the cool part to me. I mean, I have the most unaerodynamic, he calls it a Buick. It's a horrible aerodynamic car.
Your car's a brick.
It is. It looks horrible, but I have an adjustable rear spoiler that.
Wait, shoot up bandwidth, Dan.
When I tested it, I could see some small changes in the rear end just by moving. To me, that's what is about this series, is doing those little small things and trying to make that car better. But you look at the people who do have aero, and it's the guys that race. It's the guys that.
I mean, I've embraced the aero, and I like it, but I was kind of surprised as it started. I mean, we started at Road Atlanta this year, and it was the first time that we jumped on free aero or 10-point aero or whatever immediately. And not everybody did, but then as we progressed through this year, everybody else is sort of starting.
Yeah, you're starting to see guys doing it.
The 24, we saw tons of cars with aero at the beginning of the race.
Yeah.
At the end of the race, not so many cars with aero, because the aero was all over the track.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if you look at when we started out here in 2010, right? 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
We were running aero. It took a lot of learning to get things to stay on properly. I mean, there were many times I ran over my own damn splitter. I even ran over Troy's splitter one time. So at the start of the race, like we hadn't even hit the first turn yet. That was at another race series that we ran at.
That right there is part of the whole trade-off.
learning
You
part.
think this is awesome for 10 points to get a splitter in my car.
Yeah.
You're not good at it, and your car just ate it.
Yeah.
And now you're out of the race.
Now I got a car that
We
pushes
ate a
like
splitter
crazy.
that nailed our oil cooler, and it was this close to taking us out of the race. It wasn't our splitter; it was somebody else's.
Somebody else came on.
And it was in that 3 a.m. when we were driving through a monsoon. So I have no idea when I ate the splitter.
Right.
It just I pulled back in the pits, and they're like, "No wonder you're going so fast. You got 2 splitters."
Well, I think there's probably a lot of aero out there that is very counterproductive. I mean, you can see on some of the cars, you're like, yeah, let's not tell them that does not look good.
You should look at everything in the car. There's a lot of counterproductive engineering out there in general.
Yeah, I have a lot of conversations with guys that come through tech that they have this huge splitter or huge wing, and it's like, how well is that really going to work for you?
Right.
And a lot of them are, I mean, they'll be honest with me. Hey, we don't know what we're doing. It just looks cool.
Yeah.
There was a guy at Gingerman, I swear, he had a splitter in the front of the car. It was a 3/4 inch sanded plywood, and it stuck out like 18 inches, and he was standing on it working on his engine. It was that strong.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we can stand on ours. That's kind of our test.
That was the test. Is could I jump on the splitter, and could 2 of us jump on the splitter? And if that breaks it, then it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it has to. I mean, we've got tire marks on top of our splitter before, where cars have come across our nose and driven over the splitter, and it's held up.
So one of the benefits of having the rear wing on our car is pretty loose, And when an MR2 gets loose, it gets roundy round, spins and stuff, and people get hurt. So when we put the wing on with the bigger end plates, we tend to get more stability going. If the guy gets it a little too wild into a corner, it will actually help self-correct itself. So to me, that was the biggest benefit of having a wing. I don't really care if it slows us down as top speed, and we really notice it at Road America or Road Atlanta. Most of the other tracks, you don't really notice it because you don't really hit the top speed of the cars. Daytona, we never got fast enough there to actually test it out. So, but we had issues.
It was working in Charlotte.
We won't talk about Charlotte. Charlotte was good. Charlotte was good.
Until it got bad.
Yeah, until we got second. But yeah, it was.
That was the most fun race I've ever done. We were talking about that earlier
Yeah.
today.
So the arrows, I like the arrow. I think it gives guys enough room to play and kind of learn. Because there's a lot of things like shocks. We used to play with those, and that's kind of out now. And some of the other engine parts. We'd rather work on things we can see than things we can't. So yeah, that's my thinking on it. I don't make the rules though.
You bother me about it though.
Yeah, I do. Send me. I still want a 25 point. Opel GT.
He wants the Opel GT at 25 points.
Yeah.
Not until you go still 75.
You came all the way down here.
25
man. I
points
found that
actually might be a
42 for
little
you.
high.
You could have gotten it today.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's a sturdy little car. I was
What you need
impressed.
to do, man. Drop the M42 in that Opel.
Yeah, we might do something. Right now, we got to get through
Yeah, I remember
ChumpCar.
Ecotech is sitting.
Yeah, he has an Ecotech as well. So with the 6-speed, that's your wife's car.
I've got a different car you
Send
can
it to my
use.
brother.
Take the one out of your wife's
We have a lot of different cars.
Yeah.
We got a Celica all-track we can use too.
She'll go out and we'll start. She'll say
What's
something on the car.
the
Like, I don't know the
Bandit
problem.
truck now.
It's a
I
Chevy.
don't know.
What do you expect?
I bet it's lower than the MR2.
Same engine.
Lift the hood. Oh, the squirrels were in the way.
My van.
Oh, anyway.
How are you guys in your V8s?
Well, he wants to do aero, but I don't know. We don't have the.
We have no idea what we're doing. So
Yeah,
we'd be
we would
guessing.
just stick some big thing on there because it looked cool. And
Well, you know what? How
Find
we
out it
started
slows
it.
us down.
We looked at what other race series do, and kind of. I did a lot of reading on the internet, and also there's a ton of books out there, race car aerodynamics, and
Everything is.
yeah, and you just look at pictures. There's a lot of writing and math, but there's
Maybe
also a
Lincoln
lot of
told me that.
pictures.
right,
That's what I like. Is a picture. It's okay. I see how the air flows, and kind of things like that.
I'm still not.
Plus, I was in the Air Force, so you know I know aero.
Yeah, I'm still not.
Hey,
I built
Sure,
bombs.
janitors learn nothing about aero.
I built bombs.
Yeah.
It is pretty humorous. I'm sure Chris is. Everyone's seen it. Who's looked up Aero. You just go to the pictures. Like every fifth picture has something to do with Racing Strong Motorsports. It's
Is it really?
Yeah. It's usually some big.
I think you got a virus on your computer.
But why are you
It's weird
stalking
pictures
me?
with my wife pop up too. But
Wait, with Racing Strong Motorsports?
yeah, I mean their wings and everything. Because with his other website, his old place, they had a really long thread about Aero. There's actually some really good pictures, and I know that they had led us that way when we were building MR2 several years ago. And there's some smart.
So we had a
people
lot
out
of people that part of the Formula SAE and engineers that drove MR2s, and I owned one of the forums, and we had this huge discussion that went on for years about aero. And guys had actually built models and put them in wind tunnels at their schools, and actually kind of did a lot of work for us. So that helped out a lot. So
Is there a problem to keeping aero alone as it is?
I don't have any problem with aero. I just maybe think we should talk about aero staying on the car, because when I build the car, I don't use tech screws. I don't use wood screws. I build the splitter to the point that I can have two people standing on it and jumping up and down, and it's staying on the car. We drive over
you
curves.
said tech screws. What are tech screws? Drywall screws?
The metal
Any
self-drilling
screws.
screws.
I mean, that splitter's coming off is the same as wheels coming off, or the same as mufflers coming off, or dropping engine off. I mean, it's the build quality of the car. And in tech, we can look at a car and make sure it meets our rules. We can't necessarily come through and make sure that they really did a good job what they did. So it's like people building houses, or their job at work, I guess. So it's going to continue to happen. People stuff will fall off, I guess. But as long as, in the spirit of the rules, people in general don't have a problem thinking that wings are the major cheat, and the series is going to go downhill because we have wing in the car, then I think that probably leave them on.
I'd say leave it on. I mean, I think it makes ChumpCar look better to have a bunch of cool cars out there with wings and splitters, and I mean,
You got to wing now, right?
Maybe. But on our car, as another team has a car exactly like ours, has the same engines and everything, and we usually run very close together. Well, they came to VIR, I think last December, and they were winged up, everything. Well, yeah, he got me a little bit in the corner, but when I got on that front straightaway,
Yeah, it's a big drive. I mean, it's
you
a
know,
big issue.
and you know, after the race, we talked. Man, what y'all do to that motor? I haven't touched it. You're pulling a whole lot of stuff through there. I mean, if you have the power, you know, to go down the straightaway, yeah. But if you're a little four-cylinder guy, I would suggest having the big wings.
I just got a minivan engine. Come on.
Well,
man.
okay, I've got a little.
you got a truck engine in yours, Rick.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And anything over 6,000 RPM is just gone. You know. But
All right. Anyway.
I do have a question though. When people watch our ChumpCast live, when Phil gets on there, can you guys understand Phil?
I do.
Phil's talked on ChumpCast Live.
we just feel
Once in a while, he interviews him. Yeah.
Yeah, we thought about putting subtitles.
Well, the audio could, you know.
Well, we went out to California. When we went out to California, he was talking, and I remember one of the guys looking over at me, going, "What's he saying?"
But I know when I went to California, I could have been a comedian.
Could have been.
Because they just fell out of the floor every time I said it.
Yeah.
Got you.
Because all they hear is "ba-dip, ba-dip, 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 ba-dip."
You live in Virginia. How
Just
can
say
you not
y'all
understand
when
it?
you fall out.
I can.
Yeah, he.
Oh, you can't.
I can
Okay.
now. It's been 20 years now, so I've been there.
How about Jimmy?
Oh yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jimmy and
we
Phil
do
are
need.
Jimmy and Phil are very similar.
Yeah.
I never thought anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So how is racing going in the E? Have any of you guys raced in the Central at all yet? No?
California.
California, we race out there yet?
We got Corvette Museum. That's about as far.
Okay, so
Going to. That's where all the most of the bucket lists are.
so how's the track selection that we're giving you guys? Pretty good?
Yeah.
Standard? Terrible?
How could it be any better?
Yeah.
Oh, there's probably plenty of ways. I get emails every day about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Why don't
one
we
of-
race ads?
One of the questions
Yeah.
you asked
If I had a
was
nickel for every time I heard that.
6 dozen board, you know, people. that
6
were on.
dozen?
Whatever. I don't know. It's just
16,
multiplying.
man. 1-6.
Well, 16, you know, is a lot.
Yes.
That's like Republicans.
It's almost like what?
I mean, when they started the Republican thing, good gracious, they were all across the stage.
Anyway.
So I don't understand.
Board nominee every day, gentlemen.
I don't understand this board member thing. What's exactly will the board member do? Because everybody on the forum is posting about, I want this rule changed. I want free radiators. I want free this or that. I want no rule changes. I mean, I thought based on the board, the bylaws, the board doesn't really have that many responsibilities.
Correct. What did I send everybody yesterday, Ray?
A list of things wanted to buy for people, and really the only real question.
Well,
he
that was at
had,
the bottom. Was the question? What was at the top?
The duties of
Responsibilities
the board.
of the board, yes.
And the responsibilities of the board are to take care of you, you know, the
Hire and supervise the CEO, and they are to represent the club's best interest publicly, improve our public image. They are to hire auditors to review things for the club because we're a nonprofit to report to the IRS. They are to set policy and for the club, which means they look at the rules, and so when members have a problem with the rules, the board reviews those concerns and will make any changes if necessary, but they are very reluctant to do so. They are to set the vision and mission statement for the club. So they have an oversight role for the club. They don't actually get in and do any work. That's what the CEO has to do. So that information was sent out to all the 16 nominees so that in case they thought they were going to change the world, bless their heart, that's not their responsibility. And maybe some people lost interest when they saw that. I don't know.
Well, the
So-
last question you had on there was, if you could change anything about ChumpCar,
Yes.
what would you change?
Yes.
I have been Not that it's perfect, but
It's
I have
hypothetical.
seen where there's a need for something. It will, the rules and the way it's run will change to suit that need. When we saw the price fixed on the motors, on engine swaps or whatever, done by dollars, and all of a sudden these big horsepower V8s are cheap. Boom! Here comes, from up north comes the, monster and ate everybody in the country, and it changed to
4-liter, 40s.
It was a driver's, but anyway.
something to
That Well, that question though is just hypothetical. It's a window into the candidate's thinking. If they say, "Well, we need to change X," which is a core tenet of who we are, that's probably not a very good sign. But if they say, "Well, we could tweak this and tweak that," you get an idea of, what they're thinking, what they see in ChumpCar. And so, obviously, a single board member is not changing the company, but they're going to have a voice on it. There's 2 of those guys who get elected. So, we'd like members would want to see what are they thinking. Do I want that guy representing, my club?
But I've raced in a lot of different series. I've read a lot of different rule books. I've gone through several different things. And from the racing that we have and everything, and trying it, all the cars, all the different models and size engines and everything that's going on, it's still very competitive. So that tells me the rules will work.
What we have at Pittsburgh, I was watching on ChumpCast Live, and there goes, Bill's excited at the camera. He's like, "Oh, here he comes, he's right behind him." And there go, 1st through 5th are basically a lap apart, and they're all running each other down. And all 5 cars were different. Mm-hmm. They were crazy. 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, rotaries, pistons. I mean, it's beautiful to watch, really.
But in my thinking, I'm looking at where's the problem to fix. And
So
there's
your
nothing
point
glaring
is
that I can see.
The board is still just going to be reviewing petitions from members. The board isn't going to be changing the world.
I mean,
It's not set up.
if there's something dramatically wrong, say we find out that a piece of safety equipment is no longer adequate, the board can see that and they can step in and say, it's for the benefit of the club, the safety and welfare of our members, that we are going to now require this new piece of safety equipment. That is a oversight and a protective measure that a board can do. If a board member says, "I think we ought to allow 40-gallon fuel tanks," they can't. No, I mean, and if all 7 of them thought that way, well, they wouldn't, because I would never go that way. But we've elected some crazy people. I mean, they could, in theory, have the power to do that, but you'd have to have 7 people. Technically, there's a quorum, but you'd have to have a lot of people to think that way. So they won't be changing rules. But if a member submits a petition, they got this list, and we, the board, have to meet and talk about it, and we can solicit member feedback. Ideally, these board members are at the track, they're racing. They're, if Ray got elected, he's there racing next to, you and Chip, and he says, what do you think if we did this? And he's not telling you someone submitted a petition, but he wants your opinion. And we get all the opinion talking to teams and drivers, and we come back and say, you know what? Almost everybody I talked to said, that's a really bad idea. And I agree, and I think we're going to reject it. They should not sit there at a big table and with these British wigs on and say, we think we're going to do this, without ever talking to anybody. That's just bad management. So ideally, we have a board that communicates and makes measured changes if necessary to the direction of the club.
And the goal is every year one of the board members gets reelected?
There will be an election every year, and it's going to be basically 2-3-2 as a cycle. Even I go in for election in a couple of years. So, vote for me.
And radiators will be free.
Oh, jeez. Don't say that. They are not going to be free.
Are we thoroughly entertaining our audience?
Oh, yeah.
There's no question.
There's a little bit of buffering.
Do we have an audience?
Do we have an audience? There's 12 people watching. Got a bunch of thumbs up. A couple
One
of
of them is my wife, so that probably
Yeah,
doesn't
thanks,
count. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
So yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. We're at about 780, I believe it is now. We need to hit 1,000 by next week.
Yeah, sure.
So we can do it. Actually, they're coming in pretty heavily, and I don't know why all of a sudden. So, which is good.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
What's it like finishing second 3 times in a row?
Jeez.
That's got to be awful. I like every race, and I was with you at VIR, and I'm like,
That one hurt.
The
oh
VR
my
hurt the most. The VR
god,
hurt
that
the
is
most.
got like it's bittersweet, right? You finish
one
3
hurt.
endurance races second, you're like, How did you do second 3 times in a row?
I don't know him.
Well, the bad thing was I'm sitting there watching our video, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, there's probably that half second right there.
This racing, you know, it was fun. That VR race, it was bittersweet because God, it was fun. But you know, it just one more lap or 2 more. It's always so many what ifs. It happens.
If you have another 24 hours, you can make it.
In those
That's
24
right.
hours, I'm going home.
You know, every race that we're in, you know, there's so many second thoughts. You know, what if we hadn't done this? What if we had done that? You know, there's always something that goes wrong. You just got to make it all come together. Her day will come. You know, we got the AMP race in 2 weeks. We're looking forward to that.
But it was a great race.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was.
It was fun. It's
Everybody
fun to go
did it too.
You watch that ChumpCast, and it's listening to Paulie and Doc, and it's like, God.
I'm glad the camera was in the car. Man.
Who was the last Wyatt?
Yeah, Wyatt was last.
He was racing his butt off.
So, if you guys saw the ChumpCast I did last week at a pit, I posted up some pictures of the Salen's, their pit stall, you know,
Yeah.
the tower.
The NASCAR pit box.
Yeah, NASCAR pit box. It's an awesome pit box. So I bet it gets pretty hot in there, but they said they have AC for it, so that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, of course. Digging that hole deeper, Bill.
Yeah. And you know, we posted up pictures of some of the semi-trailers and stuff. Do you think that's to a detriment of ChumpCar is for teams to show up with pro gear?
No, absolutely not.
That's awesome.
Bring it on.
It's fun beating them, isn't it?
It doesn't make the car any faster.
I'm sad that the Civic got hurt at pit. That's the
I
biggest
know.
thing. They beat me 3 times in a row, and now I don't get a chance to beat them back.
Oh, they'll come back. They'll fix it. Or
Yeah,
they'll-
Please do,
They've already
Robin,
got
please
it
do.
Yes.
in the works.
already working on
Yeah,
it.
they talked to Andrew and them. So yeah, they already got a donor car that they're going to be putting everything.
Andrew likes building Honda, so this is probably
He's
a great opportunity to
I
build
think
a new
it's going to
one.
be an AM. Or,
Yes.
or
The
VR.
car will.
The car will.
Not the Civic, not an amp. I talked to him last week.
It's too soon.
Yeah, it's gonna.
He said he was going to try.
Are we allowed to talk about the numbers that we were discussing the other day?
Attendance?
No, the Doc's Excel sheet.
Oh yeah. I mean that's gonna be public information.
Yeah.
It's just data.
So yeah, so we're putting together. Doc put together a Excel spreadsheet with all the winners, all the places. I mean, it's from all over the country.
Doc's boss gave him something to do.
Yeah, and he. So I went through and I averaged out all the races they did and what their top finish was, and our bank's up there, man. You're
Good
up
stuff.
there. You know.
I hope Kevin comes. Kevin's strong too.
Yeah.
With the SC300.
Yeah, I asked him. He said it's a long trip for them.
Well, he's advertising a second car on ChumpCar on the forum for drivers.
Which
so.
event?
For AMP.
He's
Oh.
I didn't know he was going.
AMP is going to be silly.
There's a lot of fast cars
AMP
coming
is
to
going to have
AMP.
so many fast cars.
Well, a bunch of guys emailed and thanked me for bringing the championship farther south so that they could attend because they didn't want to go to VR or pit. So we brought out that those fast guys. That'll be.
I still think the Celica will be the choice.
Man, I'm stressing.
Beat Troy.
The 428. Oh, we'll beat Troy. We'll beat him
If
one
we
way or
don't beat
another.
Troy, we're running him off. One way or another, we will finish
Yes, I
that.
did think last week.
Nobody run anybody
Get
up
your
and
black
down
flag ready.
Yeah.
He just told you to get ready.
We already have a plan where Bill's just going to push him up against the pit wall and break his spoiler off.
Yeah, we said we're going to take the side draft off his. What? No, Troy and I talk about this stuff all the time.
It's
You
going to
never
happen.
see it. You'll never see it. You'll never know about it.
I do now.
We don't know why there's plywood marks going all the way down.
got
Front Street.
witnesses.
But there is something else.
Yeah.
AMP is a driver's
Yeah,
track.
AMP's great. I raced it
I
last
have-
year for a stint.
I have seen some great racing and some bad wrecks there.
Yeah.
I just did a test there 2-3 weeks ago, and thankfully, because last year I was supposed to be there, and unfortunately, team car broke. But man, it's an awesome track. I was happy to be able to take a few laps on it. But there is not a break on that track for sure.
So just to let you guys know, the track's given us a license to use their on-track cameras. We're going to have on-track cameras.
Sweet
To,
ChumpCast.
They don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
There's a couple facilities in the country, and I'm thinking 2 or 3 max,
Yeah.
that they have a high definition camera feed at every single corner station and then some. And AMP is one of those tracks, and it's inside the control center. There's big screen TVs for 32 different views. And so I can watch your car go past start finish, through turn 1, turn 2, all the way around the track, never lose sight of you. So when you do something wrong, I can rewind the video and point it out too.
Yeah.
By the way, your red light's blinking over here.
Yeah.
Their audio's no joke either. They will get you on voice.
All right. So we have 5 cameras they're going to let us use.
I don't know why it's blinking. It's still counting, but it's blinking.
40 minutes in.
It's telling you it's about to break.
Samsung, what do you expect?
Yeah, now that you have a Motorola, you're better.
So, Bill, the cameras you're using at Pitt, like I said, Troy's car, was a Galaxy?
Yeah, we use a Galaxy, and we had issues with the mount. He runs a little tiny roll cage, and my mounts aren't designed for that. You use them for bigger things. So,
I was going to say, I thought it looked good. You know, when you watch my video from like VIR, you know, it's an iPhone 6, 6 Plus in a RAM mount, and it was, you know, it's pretty clear, but it's shaky.
Yeah.
And yours was much clearer.
So,
but when you take turns, you gotta do this.
The G-force. So some of that problem was that well, no, it doesn't work like that with that.
What do you mean it doesn't work?
Part of the problem is that the camera actually it was loose on his cage.
I saw you. We were looking at the top of the screen.
So it was vibrating a bit. The Galaxy has Galaxy 7s and 8s have really good, what's that called? Stabilization, video stabilization built in. iPhone doesn't. So that might be part of the problem. Because we actually bought some cheaper Galaxy phones, the J7, and they have like no anti-vibration in it. And they work great on my truck going to work. We tested it out, 45 minutes, worked great. We put it in Troy's car at Watkins Glen, and it gave you a headache just watching it. It was just, and you couldn't see anything. So, yeah, it's taken us some time to get. Now, you've probably seen a video we've done online where we show people how to use GoPros and Cerevos, you know, Live Shell 2s and a bunch of stuff. That's a great setup. Unfortunately, the jetpacks you use to connect to the internet cost a lot of money now because those are no longer unlimited. They limit us to how much data we can push through it. And when I do multiple races a month with ChumpCar, I get $180 bills per jetpack, so that gets kind of pricey for me. So we found out that the phones, we can shove through as much data as we want. Most people don't have a data limit now with these unlimited plans. So with the phones, we just mount a phone in a car with a battery hooked up to it, same battery we use with the Cerevo setup, and we can run a full 7 hours with no issues. We still had plenty of battery life left on the battery.
But you're going to make a better camera setup for us next year, aren't you, Bill?
We're going to try.
No.
The Raspberry Pi.
That's not what we're talking about. That's not, we don't.
I'm talking about ours, not everybody.
Yeah.
Ours.
Yeah, our setup's going to be a lot better next year. Yes. But yeah, the cell phones work pretty well. You have to have it high up in the car because if you have it a little lower in the car, some of the metal actually stops the cell phone signal. Another thing we've talked about doing is maybe adding one of those cell phone boosters, you know, you buy out of the dollar store back in the seen on TV. See if those kind of work.
I can't imagine that's going to work.
It's science, man. I was seen on TV.
The real cell phone boosting stuff they put in house in the cars are like
Big money.
$300.
Yeah, big money.
They work.
Yeah.
I got one at my house.
Yeah, there was a guy at Pitt with something like that looked pretty good. I couldn't get my stuff to set up with it. I didn't have time to sit there and try and get it to work, so had a show to do. So
Anyway.
any other issues you guys have at all, or with ChumpCar?
Just don't
Any
get to race
pluses?
enough.
You don't get to race enough?
Yeah. I think that's a money issue, not a jump car.
Yeah. Have you heard anything out there, bad stuff about Chump or good, or
Well,
you know, rumors down the pit lane? How tech is going?
other series where I attend and stuff, I don't know whether let's just say they aren't.
You don't need to say names. It's all right.
And
Bill Strong.
I don't know. They always, it's a crash fest. It's this, it's that. Well, I went to a racing thing in VRR the other weekend, and I'm going around the pits, and there's this BMW there. It was just like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's white. I mean, one hell of a crash, and I mean, it's racing. Wrecks happen everywhere, but I've never, you know, comes to stock cars and stuff.
That's something I hear a lot, and I don't know how to get away from that because I've never seen that. And even at this last VR race, I had a driver who has been a renter in ChumpCar for a while, and he's always refused to bring his car, and if he's listening, he'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, he went out and was driving and racing against our car, and he was battling one of our drivers and having a great time, and he ended up getting black flagged for a little bump. And he said, wow, I got to kind of eat my words because, I messed up and I got penalized, and Chump called it. I mean, I've always seen ChumpCar black flag people that need to be black flagged, when infractions happen.
Yeah, it's weird.
It brings a tear to my eye that we actually did something right.
Well, it is weird because I see that on the forum a lot. And given I haven't done too many races, obviously not as many as Bill from A model days, but I have not ever seen. There's one bad wreck that I have seen in Chump, and it was on a restart, and that was at BIR in 15.
There was one the 24th, but that was middle of the night.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have some. But there was a restart where the car hit. But again, that was everyone going for it on a restart. I have not.
That one, the South Course one you're talking about,
Yeah.
that was a flagging issue.
Oh,
yeah.
It might have been.
That was a flagging issue, and the conga line. You gotta, everybody knows you got to be careful with conga lines.
South Bend.
Yep.
Yeah.
I set up tower, and I could see both sides.
I watched it happen.
And I'm like, oh no,
I
no.
was on the radio. I was telling my driver to stay well away.
I was on the pit wall saying, whoa.
But you look at racing.
under
Yeah,
my
there's
car.
bumps. I mean, there's crashes and wrecks. But
We're out there. I mean, I don't know
It's
about you,
racing.
but we're out there running 10 tenths
Yeah, we were
the
trying to
whole
get
race
that.
to
Yeah,
try to be
right.
up in front.
We were being held
It's
to
going to
that.
happen.
It
It's
is.
just part of racing.
I mean, I know it's everyone's responsibility, I would say, keep clean. And I know, Bill, we were talking about this with the Opal and having a slow car on the track, but you got to take that into account sometimes, and you don't hit people. And I haven't seen that this year. I've done 2 races this year, BIR and NCM. My opinion, out of 11 or 12 races I've done, those are the 2 cleanest races I've been a part of. The BIR South and the NCM was awesome, but I didn't see anything bad.
One of our drivers once told me, he says that you have to come into racing with an understanding of the fact that what you're doing, and there's contact is going to happen. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, there is a range that's acceptable. If you're looking for 1 or 2, you should be driving cars anywhere. If you're looking for like 9, 10, if that's what you expect, you probably shouldn't be here either. There should be in that 4 or 5 range is comfortable. And I thought that was a pretty good analogy that driver made, and that would be what we shoot for. It's not acceptable that Bill comes up and hits the back of your car. But if you hit oil slick,
Mike,
if you hit an oil slick or you had a failure, it's going to happen. It wasn't because he made a bad decision. Those we deal with. But if Bill's dive bombing you and punching you off the track, or running Troy's car up against the barricade down the straightaway in AMP, that's not acceptable.
We really kind of blew that one out a little.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. I got a good memory. Steel trap.
But I still look at it I still feel that Chump is bringing in the widest range of drivability.
Yeah.
Of probably any series out there.
So you have a lot of experience, years and years.
Right.
You've run tough stuff before, so you're in the higher end of the driver skill spectrum.
Right, but you're still going out there. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, you'll get my vote. But it still is. I mean, you do have people coming out there where at any given day you're going to have pros to first time.
Yeah.
You got to remember that when you go out for your stint. You ran a stint at the beginning of the race, and the Camaro was flying, and then you go out in the second, and then somebody difference in the car, and it's not going to do the same thing. You have to take that into account. Every time you see a car, you can't believe that they're going to behave the same as the last time you saw them.
There have been people that said, I'm not going to run ChumpCar until you get the amateurs out of there. But that's who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
We are the place that if you've never raced before because you didn't think it was possible, we're going to give you the opportunity. And you don't have to go through extensive training. Because frankly, a lot of the training people that come to us, they're just as much the problem. They were taught wrong. So you're going to learn under fire, on track. You're going to make your mistakes. We hope that it's not car-to-car mistakes. You just spin off or you break something in your car. And eventually, you're going to be good. And if you keep at it and you're serious with it, you can be really good. But we are always going to welcome the amateur racers with no experience. And most people get that, and they're okay with that.
All right, I got some questions from the web.
What, now that we're almost done?
Yeah, no.
On the
You
line.
have 9 minutes, Bill.
All right.
Checker flag. Get it ready.
A couple of races ago, a vehicle flipped on its side at Michigan, at Gingerman.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And it seemed like it took a while for the driver to vacate. Was there ever any lessons learned review of that issue? So there's a couple of issues with that. The car, it didn't take it. The fire rescue had to get to the car. They got there very fast.
Back up before the fire rescue got there. You're a driver in a car that's not right side up.
Right.
What do?
You stay exactly where you're at.
Exactly, and that's why he was in the seat for a while.
Yeah. So
unless there's gas or fire.
Yeah.
Correct.
Stay put.
People saw fluid. That fluid was from their cool suit. The driver knew that. He had experience racing. He did shut off his power. You can see where he turned his power back on to do his radio, to let his guys know that, hey, I just need a new window. Roll me over, give me a new window, and we're ready to go. The biggest issue we had was the battery. The battery was a lot. And we reviewed all the cars up and down pit lane for the during the quiet hour. I went down. We took pictures of all the battery boxes. The problem that car had is he had a marine battery box. They put their battery in it and then wrapped the strap that comes with the marine battery box over it, and that was that. They actually had the battery at the front of the car when they went through tech. They moved it and didn't get the car retech. So when the car flipped, that battery went up against that nylon strap and stretched it. It was a 2-inch strap. It stretched it to about 1/4 of an inch. That allowed the battery to escape and go and hit the back of the driver's seat. It wedged itself in between the cage and the window, the Lexan window. So we posted that up right away, and the reason was we wanted everybody to review their battery mountings. We posted up pictures of, in a thread on the forum, pictures of properly mounted batteries with metal rods and not just not just straps.
Yeah, don't put a screw through the battery though.
Yeah, don't put a screw through the battery. That's bad.
Or the factory style J hooks.
Yeah, or J hooks.
Yeah.
You really need to bolt that thing down, because when you hit something and you've moved your battery. If it's in a stock location, usually those are pretty good. But those are designed to take impact. Where we put it in the back of the car, there's nothing stopping that battery wanting to go forward. So.
And I'll add that I'm glad we posted that picture. Some people complained and threw some mud at us, but you're asking what we learned from it. We learned a lot from it, and we want to find these shortcomings and technical things in driving and procedures and post them up so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
And then they can input, because you may see something we don't. So
It maybe change mine.
And that's something we do. We don't see a lot of crashes, but if we do see a crash, we're going to come over and take a look at your car. We're going to look at the cage. We're going to inspect the cage, not for your quality of work, well, kind of, but we're going to look at the work that you've done and see if there's any problems with what happened. Did the cage bend? Why did it bend? Did something fly loose? Your cool suits. Those cool suits, those containers can weigh 50 pounds. That's a lot of weight moving around in there. There's a Trans Am race a couple of years ago. We one of the major manufacturers of cool suits, unfortunately one of our sponsors, had a
Cool Shirt.
Yeah, Cool Shirt had a bracket that you mount the cool suit cooler down to. And it's strapped down to that bracket, and when the Trans Am car wrecked, it broke, and that cool suit then went whipping around in the car, and the only thing that saved it from hitting the driver was the center net. And so we put that up on the web, showed the video, people went and inspected their cars, and they reinforced all that area so that in case something did happen, that it didn't happen to them. So we're going to look at your cars, we're going to look for issues, and kind of learn from this stuff, because, like I said, we don't get a lot of this. And if it does happen, we're gonna look. Another question. This was for you, Mike. Any news on the race at COTA in 2018?
Well, our schedule basically is out, so I can tell you we're not going back to COTA. Everybody collectively goes, they gasp and they cry, whatever else. Love COTA. COTA is a phenomenal facility. When I talked about the places that have those TV screens, AMP is one, COTA is the other one. I've got still a picture on my phone that shows the room. It's freaking awesome. Great staff there. Track is safe to drive. There's lots of runoff. It's designed for 200-mile-per-hour cars, not ours. That being said, it is the single most expensive track we race at in the country. Take Watkins Glen and triple it. That's COTA. And you can see how we cannot charge you guys enough money to cover our costs. We lost our shirt there this year, and it wasn't just because it was 65 cars. Even if I'd have had 85 cars, I still would have lost a fortune. and it just doesn't make sense financially for us to do it. And part of my job and the whole board's job is a fiduciary responsibility to take care of your money as members, and it's not a wise investment for us to go there, and that's unfortunately why we are not going back in 2018.
But we are adding another race in the central part of our country at Utah, the 24.
Well, that's like Rockies is the border between Central and West.
Okay.
It's accessible at everything. Technically, it'd be a Western track, but as Dan mentioned earlier, we are not Central West East anymore.
Nope.
We are United
That's why
States.
I said the central area of the United States.
It's just like geographically speaking, we'll call it Rockies once it's the Rockies. But yes, Utah.
So the
super
Rocky
excited
region.
They're gonna run 324.
324s in a row.
Yeah.
And we're all doing it, bro.
Yeah.
Fist bump. Yes. Awesome. We're going to be bloodshot eyes, exhausted, drooling. I mean, it's been miserable. But yes, I'm excited about Utah.
Just say at VAR, you guys are on your own.
And I thought the last 3 weeks
Utah
for me was bad.
is a gorgeous looking facility. I'm excited to go check it out. Friendly people. They're excited to have us there. And
There's not going to be any cars left at ChumpCar.
well, fortunately, they're far enough apart. The guys who go to Utah won't be at VIR, and Nelson and VIR are 6 weeks apart, so they should have enough time to work.
Nelson doesn't eat cars, so we're all right.
Of course,
Utah is the middle of
E30.
it was the old Miller Motorsport Park.
Yeah, that was my car involved in that one.
Yeah.
So.
Go look it up. It's beautiful. There you go racing. There's the Rockies in the background. Anyway,
Do you think we'll make it back to Dakota at some point after 18?
when they drop the price,
Austin's
I'll tell you what it is.
Austin's a good
You'll
time.
wet yourself.
The
I've heard. I wet myself.
I got a story about my brother's bachelor party there for another time.
qualification of a board
One
member.
more
You wet
question.
yourself.
One more question, and checker flag and fly. We are on the final white flag lap, Dan. You got your flag ready to go?
Out in the truck.
Well, that's for me, but I mean, here.
Any other questions online? Quickly, guys, post them up. Type
No,
away.
They're not watching us.
Somebody said something about cough Corvette cough. I don't know what that means. Joe Guara said that.
We've had a couple Corvettes run, but they're the old C4 Corvettes,
Yeah.
which they would get whooped by a Honda Accord nowadays.
Yeah. Can a C5 run yet?
I mean, you could. I might EC one, depending on condition of it, but there was such a technological advancement from C4 to C5. They're different worlds.
Would it last? I don't know if it would last.
Would it beat an E30? That's the question.
Yeah, C5 was last. They run them in the other endurance series all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to bring my 240 with the LS out to EC, or I'd have no qualms that car would last.
What is it?
It's a S13 with the LS in it.
English?
Been sitting for 2 years.
It's a
not
Nissan
gonna-
240
Okay.
SX.
Corvette engine and
Chevrolet motor.
All right. I got
Put the whole motor in it. Just half of one.
Yeah.
So you guys happy? Would you like to move to a 4-cylinder class? Or you like your big V8s?
We want the driver stint limit to be an hour and a half.
Yeah, everybody.
That's when we run out of gas.
That is a good. You should do an
Not that
Ecotech
it's about
swap.
you.
I know you can get
That's a
one.
great way of
Yeah.
looking at it. Instead of arguing for more gas, argue for shorter
Sure,
straights.
I like that. Plus, as you get older, it makes it easier, right? That's what I say. I'm not saying you're old.
Well, that's what I've heard, yeah.
Anyway, well,
All right, guys.
thank our audience.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us on our first edition of the ChumpCast Live 360 Roundtable at a square table.
I would like to do this once a month, Mr. Bill. Make it happen.
Yeah.
What am I paying you for?
Wait, he gets paid?
I'd like to announce our new name, too. It is